fellow Star Wars fans, my name is Star Raptor and welcome to the channel. It's time for another comic book review. This one we have one from Marvel, and that is Thrawn Alliances issue number 2. This is an adaptation of Tim Zahn's great book from maybe 5 or 6 years ago. This one, of course, is written by Tim Zahn with help by Jody Houser on the adaptation. We have artists Pat Olaf and Andrea DeVito on the pencils there. So getting into it, we do not have any kind of catch-up mechanic that we usually do in comics, and I feel like first and foremost that should have been something done in here. But regardless, we have two storylines going on, one in the past, one in the future, both dealing with Anakin / Vader and Thrawn. So in our Attack of the Clones type of storyline in Clone Wars, we have Anakin, who is trying to find Padme, goes off on this mission, gets lost, loses communication, and in doing so, he finds Thrawn right by Batuu, where she goes missing. So now it's Thrawn and Anakin working together, and they are kind of following this loose thread of where she is, where her handmaiden was, and then they get beset upon in Oga's Cantina by all these different characters, and that's where we leave off in that storyline. And then we go to the Imperial storyline way in the future when the Emperor has Vader and Grand Admiral Thrawn investigating a presence of the dark side in that same region on Batuu. So little to Thrawn's knowing, well, he probably does know, I think he figures it out, that Anakin is Darth Vader. So, well, we got that whole dichotomy going on, that whole relationship, if you will. So yeah, so that's where we left off in the last issue of Vader and Thrawn being beset upon by the Darshi, which are an outer or an unknown regions type of alien. So we'll start there. We'll tackle that storyline first. So basically, Thrawn and Vader have a really badass scene where they're taking these guys down. They're not trying to necessarily kill them, and they do so pretty good. They take out most of them, but then at one point, Vader feels a strong presence in the Force. What he and Emperor were thinking about is very nearby. So he finds out where this is through the Force. But then as when they are ambushed again by an invisible opponents, they use these organic permacrete type of weapons that literally like turn Vader and the Thrawn into cement right there on the spot. Quick drying organic things is really neat. And they break out of there, and then they just kill everything, and that is where that storyline leaves off, as they are going to investigate what this really big dark side power is. Thrawn might actually know who they are. Maybe the Grisk? Probably. And then going into the past, so we pick up where Anakin and Thrawn were beset upon and ambushed by these smuggler type characters, and that storyline's more involved because then we have Anakin that is basically using the Force to reanimate a corpse, kind of, to show that the outsider little onlooker guy is going to report back to his people. They want to trail this guy first and foremost. They want to trail this character, so they're trying to make it seem like one of his compatriots is still alive, and it's going to be used as bait to get the information, and it actually works. So we see Anakin and Thrawn finding out who these people are and how it links them to Padme. They go on board their ship and find out that these smugglers are actually carrying CIS type of gear. And that leads them on to their mission where they will find out where she is. Then we get a big couple pages of Padme, and she's going to Makiv, which is where this separatist signal has come from. She's off on her own, doing her own adventure, doesn't tell Anakin where he is, and the next thing you know, that's where this issue ends. So for me, this issue definitely had some problems. I think that there was issues in the storytelling. I think it gets a little confusing having Vader and Thrawn in the same location going back and forth, even though they look drastically different in both timelines. I was getting wires crossed a little bit reading that. Again, I think it would have done really well to have some kind of forward in the beginning of an issue, kind of recapping what happened in the previous issue. But all in all, it's really great to see Thrawn and Vader working together, especially in those combat scenarios where Vader's like, the blunt object, and Thrawn is like breaking open bottles and using them as projectiles against the Darshi, and the Darshi look really cool. And then we have Vader and Thrawn working in the, as Anakin. It's just like a great story. I don't know, maybe if it was pieced together in 5 issues rather than 4, it would have done better. to kind of pace it out a little bit more. We're already halfway through, just 4 issues, so looking forward to the next. So what'd you guys think about this issue of Thrawn Alliances issue number 2? Let's talk about it in the comment section down below. For more on Star Wars, you can hear me and Matthew's thoughts over there on the Star Wars Underworld Network every Wednesday. We talk about these comics on the Tractor Beam podcast in more detail, so make sure you go over there and check those guys out. Subscribe here if you haven't already, and do hit that bell icon to be notified when future videos go live. That's gonna do it for me, Star Raptor. Thank you so much for watching, and may the Force be with you always. Thanks for checking out the video. Please hit that thumbs up symbol. It helps me know that I'm making content that you guys enjoy. And if you enjoyed this video, I also include 2 videos down below you guys should check out. And please consider subscribing to this channel. It helps support me, and it notifies you guys of when I get new videos up on the channel. You can also contact me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Star Raptor.